I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Welcome back to the Electric Fancave on electricbeast.com, fangirls and fanboys. Corrigan Vaughn and Kristen Latterell at your service, bringing you some tasty pop culture morsels and vital information for your everyday life. Like your weekly dose of Guardians of the Galaxy news, a new Hunger Games teaser, and the return of the viral sensation Marcel the Shell with shoes on. We'll talk a little about Renee Zellweger's new look and Tom Hanks' sci-fi tale before delving into some awesome science news and some really, really creepy science news. Yeah.
Hard pass.
Hard pass, yeah. Kristen insisted she would not read the article that we're going to discuss later. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you about it whether you want to know or not. So stick around and you'll find out what Kristen has decided she will not abide. We have found your limit. I didn't know it existed, but this is it. But I thought this was funny. I listened back to last week's episode. Well, I mean, because I edit it, so of course I listened back to it. And realized in the intro, I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. And we never did. We never got
We didn't? Oh, you're right, we didn't.
Nope, because we had John.
Let's talk about it now.
Because
we were going to ask John about it, and then we didn't. Okay.
No, and then we just kept babbling about other things. But
Shocking.
There's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon.
This is almost as exciting as when I found out they're going to release the soundtrack on cassette tape.
Yes, it's like you transitioned a wee bit early, because that was where I was planning to go from here.
Oh,
but
sorry.
Both of these things are amazing news. I mean, the tape thing, so yeah, they're releasing the whole awesome Mix Volume 1 on cassette tape, which is a great novelty that's utterly useless to like 95% of the population.
Not to me. I have a cassette player in my car and in my apartment.
Oh, that's right. You do have one in your car, huh? You have the old school, like, you hook your...
I have the tape player with the adapter cord for my iPod.
Yeah, there's like half the people listening to this are like, that. I don't know what that is. Is that...
Yeah, dude. And I have a cassette player because I made my friend's CD player in her car broke, so she could only use her, which she's like, of course, then was listening to like the same Michael W. Smith album because that's all the only like cassette tape she had left. And so I still had my like 5-disc CD changer plus cassette tape, like boombox thing I had in high school.
Man, that
so
you
I
used
can
to tape
record
stuff off
that
the radio and the CD.
So I recorded. So what I did is I made a mixed CD and then I recorded it. And I had to do the whole thing where you put the tape over the holes because otherwise you
have
can't
to record over. Oh my gosh. Here's how long it's been since I made tapes. And I used to make tapes all the time that I saw a guy. Did you see the cosplayer from New York Comic Con who was doing Star-Lord, who was incredible? He had like the moves down. He has kind of a Chris Pratt-esque face and like all this stuff. And he was great. But he actually had a Walkman with it in it and it had the soundtrack on it. And I was sitting there like picking my brain. I was like, how did he do that? How did he get the songs onto a tape? And like I could not for the life of me remember what the process was of putting stuff on a tape.
Yeah. And then I remember like coming to, because I'm thinking like, okay, so this tape, it's like 30 minutes on one side. Yeah. So then it's coming to the end. You have to sit there and be ready to stop the CD and the tape at the same time. So you can flip the tape and then start it again so that the CD, you don't miss any of the song.
Exactly. I mean...
It's an art form, people.
It is an art. It's something we miss out. And not only do we not have those anymore, but we really don't make mixed CDs anymore because you can make playlists. So the whole kind of...
I make mixed CDs all the time.
That's true. But it should come as a surprise to no one that Kristen has anachronistic music listening
That's true.
methods.
It's true.
But I'll make them because, I have like a 6-disc changer in the car or whatever. So I'll make them when it's like, oh, I got this new CD I like got in MP3 form off Amazon or whatever, eMusic, and then I'll make it and put it in the car. But like if you make a mix CD for someone, all they're gonna do is rip it to their computer and put it on their iPod.
Or they'll listen to it in their vehicle.
But everybody has like auxiliary cables or Bluetooth or
Well, some people have the tape adapter cord and need a CD. And some people like the comfort of a homemade CD that has a message on it and little notes about the songs and the artists.
Yeah. It's a lost art.
It is a lost art, people.
I do.
I remember me and my friend used to do this thing where you'd put in your like Walkman CD player. You remember you'd put it in there and you'd press play and you'd start to spin and you'd put a marker on it so it would make like the rainbow like color the front and top of the CD.
I never did that.
So okay, well that's a thing.
Okay, I'm going to accept that that's a thing. I would always like try to write in like small letters all the songs on it, like in a perfect spiral.
In a circle.
Yeah, which is like so difficult. And then you like miss a letter or like you miss a song or something, and you're just like, my life is ruined.
Yep, because you can't redo that.
Yeah, that's
permanent.
It. You know, you have
it's
just
like
wasted a CDR, and then you have to try to get creative with it. Like, oh, I meant to do that, and now I'm just writing artists randomly on here, and it's not.
They're not
in order. You just know that somewhere on this, it's gonna have. Yeah. I don't know. The two bands that popped into my head were Aerosmith and Bon Jovi. I don't think I've ever made a mixtape or CD that has had Aerosmith or Bon Jovi on it before.
Oh, I have, definitely.
You have?
So I'll put them on, like, running mixes for people. On, like, people running CD mixes.
Yeah. You said you'd make me a running mix, like, 2 years ago, by the way.
I did say that. I'm sorry. I forgot. But you reminded me, so now I'm going to do it. I'm going to write it down.
Been running mix lists for...
Running mix
years.
For Corey.
Listening to our new favorite podcast pals, the Geek Legacy podcast.
Geek Legacy.
Geek Legacy.
They're doing it right, you guys. If you think our show is too long, because we ramble.
And if we're too uneducated on the topics we talk about.
If it's because every episode we have to correct about 15 things we said previously, you should listen to Geek Legacy, because they have, and if you disagree with us on everything.
Yeah.
The Geek Legacy is pretty much the opposite of us. It's two guys. Well, at least the one that
it's
more
usually
people,
4 people total. Yeah. But this one was just the two.
The one that I was listening to the other day was the two guys, and it's like 30 minutes, and they had so much information in that 30 minutes. I'm like, I don't think we could ever do that, because
like they literally talked about everything we had talked about in that week's episode, and ours took like an hour and 15 minutes, and theirs was like 30. It was like,
I know. Although I will say that I did, and while we did reach different conclusions on many things, I did wholeheartedly agree with them that Brandon Routh was a superb Clark Kent / Superman, and it's not his fault that boring movie was so boring.
Right. Well, you know, I generally find Superman boring.
I know,
so
I'm not really saying this for your benefit.
Well, no, but in that sense, I feel like I'd probably agree with you. If I didn't think Superman was a waste of a character, except in the context of Smallville, Brandon Routh would probably be great.
He was great. He was so. And he was so good in Chuck. Oh gosh.
I never.
He was a bad guy, which was crazy because Superman. Oh, it was good.
Well, he was also on a very short-lived sitcom that was like semi-offensive.
Oh, it was the one with Brooke Davis.
Yeah, the one with Brooke Davis, and I actually thought it was kind of funny.
And Bernard, wasn't Bernard from the Santa Claus in it?
Yeah, David Krumholtz. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was like the boyfriend of the like gay best friend, right? And so, but he like didn't have a sense of humor. And so everything he said was like completely straight faced, and he didn't understand when anyone ever made jokes or anything like that. And so like part of his character was like people were always trying to get him to understand jokes, and the most you'd get out of him would be like I guess that was funny. You know, like
he's like Captain Holt.
Yeah, he's like Captain Holt. And so I actually thought he was pretty great in that, which is that's such a weird thing for me because I don't like sitcoms, so I don't know why I was watching that in the first place, and I don't know why I thought it was funny. Funny enough to watch several episodes of it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was, I think maybe like 95% of it was that I was like, that's a really funny character.
See, there you go.
People who don't understand humor amuse me.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
that's it. So Guardians of the Galaxy tape.
Yep, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is why Geek Legacy is
this is why Geek Legacy is so succinct. And you really all should check it out. It's on iTunes. I think it's on Stitcher. They're they're part of a website, like a whole big thing, Geek Legacy, and so this is just like the podcast subset of it. But they know what they're talking about, and so
they do.
The depth of their podcast is certainly a little. The depth is deeper. God, I shouldn't even be allowed to talk.
Oh man, that's okay.
Yeah. I only got like 3 hours of sleep. You just got it. This is going to be me for this quarter, you guys. I know I'm normally not the most coherent person in the world. It's just going to be even worse now, and I hope you can love and accept me in spite of it. That's all I ask.
I will think about it and get back to you.
That's fair. Okay. I can't really ask any more than
Great.
that. So on top of it, so also at New York Comic Con, they aired this like very brief, like 30-second intro teaser
to
for
Ultron,
Guardians.
right?
No, I was gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon.
Oh, sorry, we're talking about that. I forgot.
Yeah. Podcast geniuses. Oh yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay, right. So they did a teaser for the cartoon of Guardians of the Galaxy, which we're so excited about.
Yeah, I will watch the heck out of this. I am so excited.
What channel is it going to be on?
That's actually a good question. I don't know if they.
And it's not going to be on Saturday mornings apparently because they got rid of that.
Because there's no more Saturday mornings. My Saturday mornings are seriously just confusing now. I don't know what to do with
One
myself.
Saturday morning. Remember that?
One Saturday morning. After these messages, we'll be right back.
They should just start a new one, like one Saturday mornings, but new with like Guardians of the Galaxy and something else.
Think,
and
like, how could that
thing.
not be profitable? Because I mean, I think that's the thing now. Is it's cartoons are expensive to make, and it's easier for them. What they've replaced some of them with is like the education initiative live action things. So I mean, and I love Corwin's Quest, or it's not called that anymore, Ocean Mysteries with Jeff Corwin and things like that as much as the next guy. But I also want to watch Justice League Unlimited. Gosh darn it. Like,
see, that's what they got to put him back on. And I feel like it'd be such a great, I don't know, they've got good material. If they're going to, I don't know, if Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be any good.
Yeah, like make a block of like the, like Marvel cartoons or whatever, like old school X-Men that we all watched all the time. I think that there's definitely
they could put Batman Superman back on.
Yeah,
or just Batman, remember?
Because
Batman Superman Adventures.
Bring back Gargoyles for Pete's sake. Come on, right?
Freaking love You know what they should bring back is Recess.
It's not that I don't like Recess so much as I never like really saw it. Like I've seen a few episodes and everyone loves it.
Yeah, I consistently refer to it in life.
A lot of people do.
The other day we were talking about how hot it was and I was like, you should just be like Gus. Remember when they're walking across the playground trying to turn the water on? It's so hot. And he's like, I'm not bothered. I'm just thinking of cold things. And I got a lot of blank stares.
Yeah. But anyway. Admittedly, if your audience was maybe 5 years younger, you might have better luck. Not really. Honestly, like 5 years younger, I actually think is too early. It's somewhere in between, like maybe 2 years younger than we are.
Yeah.
You get the Recess crowd. But they should, I don't know, it makes me sad. And someone was like, well, all that stuff's on Netflix anyway, just go on there. And I'm like, no, the commercials are part of it. The commercials are definitely part of the experience. You get the terrible, infomercials.
But you also get some, toy ones, because they know kids are watching them.
Crossfire. You'll get caught up in the crossfire.
Skip it. Skip it.
I always get the Skip It theme song confused with... There was another thing that had something to do with a party in a can. And that's inevitably where the Skip It thing goes for me.
It's really awkward.
Fair enough. That's every now and again. There's like when I start to sing Frosty the Snowman, it always ends up being like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or there's just certain songs that I'm like, I don't really know it.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know any songs.
Yeah,
I consistently make up my lyrics.
I'm the originator of the mashup. It's just like I'm not sure where this song goes. I'm just gonna change it to another one.
Oh, see, I just change it to something that's not a thing. I
just make up your own words.
I don't even know words of another song to mash it up with. So I'm just like, I think this is how it goes, right? And everyone's like, no, those aren't the lyrics. No. I'm like, I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, we're really excited about this Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. And we wish it would be on Saturday mornings, whatever it's on. I mean, I feel like it's destined for some sort of digital distribution, right? Nothing.
Yeah, everything is.
Yeah, so. Nothing new comes out that they don't put on the interwebs. So. True. One way or another, we'll see it. But it looked really cool. I'm very happy about it. I didn't check. I wonder who's doing the voices, though. Because I am going to guarantee that Bradley Cooper is not going to be doing it.
Wouldn't that be rad, though?
It would be rad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, and it's not super time-consuming for celebrities to do this. So I feel like they should all do it.
Because remember when they were doing Captain Planet, it was only famous people. Tim Curry, Meg Ryan.
Right.
Who was the...
I don't remember.
There was pretty much everybody on that show was famous.
And even on...
or Lance... Was... I don't know. Not Lance.
But if you look at PBS cartoons too, those all have tons of famous people on them and things like that. And I remember hearing the Simpsons cast. I think it was Yardley Smith who was talking about how long they actually spend recording an entire season of The Simpsons, and it's a week. And that's the whole
Yeah.
thing. That's all the work they have to do is just a week for an entire year of Simpsons episodes. So, you know what? Bradley, forget the salary. Just come and do the voice for us. Chris, all y'all, do it. Take one for the team. In other internet news, Marcel the Shell with shoes on has returned.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is probably the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Somehow Kristen missed the Marcel the Shell a couple years back when it debuted, which led to the greatest Facebook exchange because I'm like, oh, we should talk about the new Marcel the Shell with shoes on video, and she sends back this really meh kind of message that's like, oh yeah, I guess I should watch it because everybody's going crazy about it. Like, she was clearly skeptical that this was like, she's like, why does anyone care? And then I look again, and just in all caps with no spaces, it's like, oh my gosh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen. It
was so funny. Oh my gosh, the little song he sings, like, I learned it at camp. I was like, stop it right now.
He sings it for a friend because he's far away.
Oh. And when he sneezed and he fell off, and he's like, can we cut?
This is, you guys, this is unreal cute, and you need to watch it. Go to the blog, check out the link, because you may be incredulous like Kristen, but you will
trust me.
Turn around. This, I don't know
this will
where
melt
they got
even
this
the
idea.
Cynic's heart.
Yeah, but it's like this claymation, like stop motion sort of
it's
thing.
I think it's an actual snail. Maybe, I don't think it's even clay. I think it's an actual shell.
Yeah, like it's actually like a shell.
I was watching an interview with Jenny Slate, and she was like, I had this voice first, so I she's like doing it, and Conan O'Brien's like, that is so creepy how you do it, And she was like, I just think like shells are like the diamonds of the sea, and she's like telling this crazy story, and I'm like, you guys are too, because it's her and her husband that do it together. And I think the best part of the video is like him like talking to the shell, like asking questions.
Yes, and like laughing.
Yeah. So I'm like, I want to know like the process. So it's like, they must clearly do like the voiceover, but it sounds like he's filming it, so it sounds like he's far away.
So he's supposed to sort of be like the documentarian.
Yeah. So is she just like standing next to him and they're filming it? I don't know.
I would love to know the process on it too. It's just really cute. It's like this little shell that's wearing shoes and has this cute little voice that's kind of crackly and like just says the most adorable little one-liners, and it's like going about his day, and and they're like they're
what are you gonna do with what are you gonna do with that grape? I was gonna put it on your pillow and then move the pillow. It's gonna be there. I told my friends I had a friend who could eat a whole grape, and they were like, no way. And you're like, what is happening?
It's bananas. And they're like, he's really small, so he's beholden to, the problems of being small, such as needing it. When you see a crack in the door and you want to go inside, you got to take it. Yeah. Because otherwise you're going to be outside. And that's it.
It's like, he's like, it looks like we're going to get caught in a storm. Have you ever been in a storm outside? He's like, no, can't say that I have. And he's like standing underneath this like leaf, and it's like raining, and he's just like sitting there. So cute.
It's so cute. I can't, my brain just like melts watching it. Everything. Yeah. It'll turn you Gryffindor. That's what I'll say. That will turn your Slytherin heart. That will turn your Slytherin heart to Hufflepuff.
Oh man. Even you, Duncan.
Even you, Duncan. Golly. So that's a cute thing on the internet. And then another thing on the internet that's less cute but awesome is there's another little teaser for Hunger Games.
Oh, this was my
favorite
by
Doritos.
One. Yeah, that was minus the Doritos weird intro part. I think this has been my favorite one, besides the BT like interrupting your thing.
The BT one is probably my favorite, but
I know. But this one might be my new favorite one because I just love like you finally get to see some emotion from Gale, who's like always just been. We've talked about this before. Been like
bland.
They just have made him so lame in these movies, and it's been so unfortunate. So you finally get to see him be like, I would never. Oh, it's just so good. And you see PETA, and it's like,
there's a lot of action in this one. You're kind of seeing more like war.
Dude, when they're in the trees, I about lost my mind. You guys, whatever they're doing, they're like start screaming, and then like it explodes, and it's so good. You guys, this movie is gonna be super
bananas. Awesome. I have high hopes, and I don't think I'm gonna be disappointed.
I don't think so either.
Of course, if you expect to be disappointed, then you wouldn't be disappointed. But Everything. I mean, they've put out so many trailers at this point and so many little glimpses at it. And everything I've seen so far is like building and building and building that I'm just like, this is going to be epic. I mean, the only thing for me is just that it's going to be 2 movies, which, that's...
But I think we've talked about this before. Yeah. They have an opportunity to make them a lot better.
Exactly. And so there's that. It's just more the like, I don't want to wait. That kind of thing. True. And this one's a year, too. It's not even like they're not even Harry Pottering us where you only had to wait 6 months. It's so unfair, and I don't know why they're doing that to us, except that they hate us. It gives us more time to buy DVDs and things and whatnot, I'm sure.
Like, we weren't going to already do it, though.
Yeah, your merchandise is going to sell.
Come on, Hunger Games people.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry your pretty little heads about it. We're gonna, it's on Netflix, and I still have the Blu-ray.
Yeah. It's so good, though. You guys, it's going to be rad.
It's
going to be rad.
Yeah, just stay tuned for us, like, freaking the F out after this one comes out.
Yeah.
Guarantee there's going to be a lot of that
probably
thing
a lot
where I stop making sounds when I talk.
Yeah. I'm probably going to be doing that.
It's just...
so I get the part when you don't want to give anything away, so all my sentences will end halfway through. You know that one part when it's like that part. Oh,
yep,
it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. It's great. So that link will be on the feast as well. But it's a quick like teaser trailer. It's not a full trailer. I think it's 30 seconds plus a Doritos bumper at the beginning.
There's a lot in it.
But yeah, it's packed. There's so much happening in this tiny little teaser to really look forward to. And it gives you a glimpse at like what this war looks like and what to expect from the world of the Hunger Games when it comes out.
And that's what I think was even
cool.
missing from the books is that you didn't really get that glimpse.
Yeah, I agree.
Into that, it's like they're just kind of like, yeah, it happened, and you're like, okay, but I don't know. They're really big on like the aftermath, but they don't ever show you. I think you can't really. I don't know. It's hard to relate to it when there's nothing, you don't see how it happened, and you can't really empathize if you're not, kind of in that action. So I think,
this is definitely placing you right in the center.
They're definitely not messing around. So
no, there will be no messing.
Nope. Don't mess. Don't mess with the best, because the best don't mess. Don't fool. Don't fool. Don't fool with the cool, because the cool don't fool.
That happened. Renee Zellweger had...
Yeah.
It makes me sad. Renee Zellweger...
she doesn't look like Renee Zellweger anymore.
No. And she appeared... What was it that she was at?
The AFI's... or Hollywood... Yeah, AFI's Hollywood Women... No. Elle magazine.
It was Elle, yeah.
Hollywood Women of Hollywood Gala or something.
Yeah, and she came out... And this is kind of a transformation that's been going for a while, that she's, morphed into someone other than Renee Zellweger. And there's a lot of articles today coming out that are kind of trying to shame everyone for being, like, surprised by it. Like, oh, well, women aren't allowed to age. How can you be surprised when this is the result of that? Yeah. Like, yeah, I'll grant you this is the result of terrible beauty standards in Hollywood, but not remarking upon it doesn't really do a service to what's really going wrong here. Because she does not look like the same human being. She looks like, I will say, for plastic surgery, she looks like a beautiful older woman. Just not Renee Zellweger.
Right. Which I think is what people's issue is. Not that it's a botched. I mean, we've had plenty of people that like, they come out and you're like, ooh, they got a botched job there.
Yeah,
hers isn't botched.
Yeah. Like, she looks great.
She looks great, but she also, you're right. What it is, it's like, but she doesn't look like herself.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, and I think it's worth a conversation for the fact of it's like people are feeling as if they can't just be themselves, and that is a problem. And I think it needs something that it should be addressed, and not something that should be like, oh, let's just let them continue to have these like body issues and the self-confidence issues that then leaks into not only other actresses but other just women in general, Because that's, I think, one of the things that's sort of at the heart of this too is that she doesn't look younger. It's that she looks like a different person, and that is a more disturbing picture to me, is the idea of this beautiful actress who
didn't change herself to look like a young woman, but changed herself because she apparently wasn't happy looking like who she was at all. I mean, unless maybe she just, you know, by some freak of nature, she ages weirdly and her face just changed. On top of, I mean, clearly there's been plastic surgery there. But I'm like, you know, some people look different when they're older or whatever. But yeah, I find it to be sort of an indictment of the Hollywood culture and everything. Like you said, I mean, if we don't talk about these kinds of things, and it's just this is a pattern that's set forth that you not only reach a certain age and want to try to like use Botox and look younger, but you get to the point where it's like, you know what, I've never been happy with this.
Yeah.
Let's change it.
Yeah.
You know,
let's just scrap that and start over.
Yeah. But it's weird. It's like truly weird how different she looks. Like,
yeah, I honestly don't think I wouldn't have believed it that it was her if she has the same smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That same, like, where she doesn't show her teeth smile.
Yeah, that, like, sort of pursed lip
that, like,
smile.
Like, it's actually, which is, like, I've always thought was so adorable about her.
Yeah.
So it's like, I honestly would not have recognized her if that had changed, when that hasn't changed. So I was like, that is her. That has to be her. Because, I mean, it's like, it was mind-blowing. I probably started it multiple times today, even. I'm like, it was kind of, and this kind of a horrible comparison, but I'm comparing it to how I felt when I was watching The Dark Knight, and I was trying to see Heath Ledger in the Joker, and I couldn't. Yeah, like even under the makeup, I'm like, he's got to be in there somewhere. Right, totally. In the voice, he's gonna say something. So I'm like, I mean, I've watched that movie dozens of times, and every time I watch it, he's not in there. He's not in there.
Yeah.
And so this is what I was like thinking when I was watching. I'm like, this is like when I was trying to find Heath Ledger. I'm like, I'm trying to find Renee Zellweger, and I'm having a hard time finding her.
Yeah. And I wish, like, I mean, she certainly doesn't owe it to any of us to explain her choices or anything like that, but I wish she would, because, I mean, when you go through such a change like that, you know this is, I mean, look at another person who kind of did a similar thing was Rupert Everett. From My Best Friend's Wedding.
I haven't seen him, I guess. I don't know. He looks different. He
came out in like a talk show a few years ago, and it was like, this is like, that's not Rupert Everett. That's not the same human being. It's uncanny.
Yeah.
I had never seen someone like get plastic surgery to look younger or things like that ended up looking like an entirely different human being. You know, there's people who are like, I want to look like J-Lo, so they change their face to look like J-Lo or whatever. But someone who ostensibly was not trying to be a different person coming out like that. And so that's like the only time I had ever seen sort of that extreme. And you're sitting there and you're just trying to figure it out, and you want to know. And I think he did talk about why he had elected to do it when it came out. And he's one of those actors who he's always kind of, he says he felt like he was always pigeonholed, and, you know, he's always the gay friend and things like this. And so, I mean, there was a lot of issues and insecurity in his acting career. Yeah. That also led him to do that. But, you know, he's not really in things now either. So it didn't really pan out. And as Anne Helen Peterson pointed out in an article, I don't really agree with her on that sort of shaming people for...
I read that same one.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Shaming people for looking at that. Oh, God, I forgot where I was going with it. I was going to point out something I did agree with her on in there, and I don't remember what it was. But that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry. I can't help you. Because, I was... It was funny because we got started a little late today, and when you were like, oh, I'm going to be a little bit late, I was like, okay, that's good, because I'm like, I need to kind of think about what I feel about I didn't even like the subtitle.
Yeah, because it's article. Like, what's really going on?
It's like, it's this misogyny. I'm like, it's not, like, that's not the issue, first of all. Let's not get, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes we take things.
Yeah, it's not the logical next step.
It's not.
10 steps from where we are.
Yes, I agree. And for her... Yeah, you're right. Like, I do kind of want to know, but I think really we do kind of know. There's obviously, she was unhappy with how she looked, and I do think that's sad, because she's beautiful. Yeah. I always thought and they've, you know, of course now they have these, like, her then and now, and they're showing, even, I'm like, I don't know, I guess it just makes me sad that she felt there was something so wrong that it had to be that drastic of a fix, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, so
that, especially in American culture, we have just such a standard on beauty, and you don't meet that, it's like you are like I don't know, you just can't do it. Just is awful. It's awful.
Yeah, and I think that, when you're talking about sort of like the, what societally is wrong with it, it's not that we're curious about this picture, it's that we live in a society in which we're driven to this kind of thing.
That's, I think, didn't Anne Helen say something about that? Not the part about being curious, but she was like, it's what we really need to be looking at is, she did say something about that. Something about, it's more of like a look at like, oh no, that wasn't it. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. We're a little lost, David. That's okay.
I don't know what's happening. It's not even Monday. I don't have an excuse like Corey.
I mean, she did say, about like where it's looking inward on ourselves.
But her point was the opposite of the one I'm trying to make. Now that I think about it, so.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot that's wrapped up in that, and I think for women and really for anyone, like I said, because this is a thing that Rupert Everett went through as well. That it's something that causes us to pause and reflect upon maybe even our spectatorship in a different way than what she's talking about, because it's not that we want to see the carnival-esque like freak show of how bizarre she looks now. That's not it, but I think it causes us to reflect on beauty standards and causes us to reflect on what we demand of celebrities and what culture demands of us, and there's a lot wrapped up in the decision to do something like that. So I disagree with the articles that seem to be implying that like we're all jerks and misogynists for being interested in this, because really what it does is kind of like puts up a mirror and makes us go like, ooh, look at what's happening.
Yeah, or what kind of standards are we holding to, to that, with maybe even like subconsciously of the stuff that we do, it's like that, how do we constantly just make that keep going? Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's an interesting thing because of what we talked about, was it last week when we were talking about Haley Joel Osment, of how like even he's like, and he hasn't even had any work done. He's just growing up and having a hard time looking different, you know? Totally. So it's like for this poor guy who hasn't even had any work, and then it's like Renee Zellweger who's like purposely trying to look different. Yeah. I don't know. It's just such an interesting, I think.
It's hard to win.
It is hard to win. I think you can't, actually.
Yeah. This is... Well, that's depressing. No, but I hope someday she says something about it, because I mean, if you're getting surgery and stuff like that, and to look like someone different, I mean, I hope that she's happy with it. At least,
totally. I hope at this, finally, I'd hope.
I hope she comes out and she's just like, I did this. It was what I needed for me. And here's, what peace of mind it gave me or whatever. And that she isn't like sitting there like, oh God, people noticed. I didn't want them to notice. Like, that would be worse.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think that'd only drive her to more.
Right, exactly. No, ain't nobody got time for that. But the other thing that's in celebrity news is Tom Hanks wrote a little short story and read it aloud for the New Yorker, right?
Adorable. And I love him.
Yeah. And then this is another thing that, like, I think Slate, like, wrote, like, an article that was like, ugh, Tom Hanks is the latest celebrity to write a New Yorker, like, fiction piece. Please stop. I'm like, why is everybody so negative about everything?
And if you can write, it's such a delightful little story.
It is.
And
it's
I love
delightful.
it because, and I'm going to mention it again, and I know I've mentioned it 15 times, but you probably know what I'm going to talk about, and it's the Nerdist podcast interview with Tom Hanks. So you guys, the thing is like, as I'm reading this, I can hear him, and I don't even understand half of the jargon that he's using, especially like when he's talking about the things on the moon. I'm like, I don't know what any of these things are. Whatever. But I want to go read a book about the moon now and figure out, because I can hear this excitement. Mm-hmm. I didn't even listen to it. I read it myself. So this is just me with my Tom Hanks in my voice, in my head, like hearing it, of like the excitement that was poured into the story through this just like tiny fun little story. It's so beautifully, it's just beautiful because it's such a passion thing of his, like a pet passion,
And it's it's a story about like, 4 friends going to space in a homemade spacecraft, and it's exactly as delightful as you would imagine that kind of story would be. And it's not groundbreaking, this is not great literature or anything like that, but it's an expression of this thing that Tom Hanks is super passionate about and has always been openly passionate about his passion for Star Trek and the moon and the sky and space and all that
NASA.
Kind of stuff, and NASA.
You guys, this fool knows the history of NASA's logos. That's how much this guy likes.
That's a super space nerd. Yeah, big
That's
time.
like the boring part of space. Is the
Yeah,
logo.
that is the thing nobody cares about.
You know? I mean, you know someone really cares, like, loves something when they love even the really boring parts that no one else loves.
The most mundane. Oh, sorry, the most mundane aspects. I'm yawning even thinking about NASA logos. No, but
Sorry, Tom. Just
It's,
kidding. But he's just delightful.
he is. I think Tom Hanks is he's just wonderful, and you know, and that's, I feel like maybe I'm a little protective of Tom Hanks as like an American property, you know, because there's few people who are as unpolemical as Tom Hanks. You know, we all kind of agree on him.
It's true. I refuse to believe that there are people out there who don't like Tom Hanks.
I'm sure that they exist, but I do not acknowledge.
I want to meet them so I can show them how they're wrong.
You do not want to meet the person who is like spiteful enough about life that they dislike Tom Hanks.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like that is a person you don't ever want to encounter.
They'd probably crush my soul.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe in my optimism and my. I'm pretty sure I could do it. I'm pretty sure I believe in my excitement level to really get. I mean, there's been people in my life who've thought things are super boring, but by the time I'm done,
that's true.
They may not think they're exciting, but they at least enjoyed the fact that I explained this boring thing to them.
That's true. That's a special gift in and of itself.
Yes, it's true. Phil always says that about our friend Phil always says, like, your excitement about things like makes, I don't even know what you're talking about, but for some reason, like, I'm like want to go listen to whatever weird song you are. I'm like, I know, it's gonna be so great.
This is what he always says that about the podcast, because he's like, I don't know what you girls are talking about, but you guys are really excited about it, and I like that.
That's true. We are excited about everything. Yeah. So I'm pretty. I don't know. I challenge you.
Challenge the person who doesn't like Tom Hanks.
First of all, just see the picture of his family watching the World Cup.
Oh, God, only the best picture ever.
Listen to his Nerdist podcast interview. Delightful. And then also watch his Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yes. And watch every interview he's ever done on like a late night
any
show.
Movie. Oh my gosh. All the movies he's been in.
He's a treasure. That's all there is.
He is. It's true.
An absolute national treasure.
True. National Treasure was not the one that Nicolas Cage was looking for. Wouldn't that have been a great twist at the end?
That it's Tom Hanks. Oh my gosh.
Plot twist.
What? That would be.
It's not actually the book that says who killed JFK.
Nope. It's
They just show up at Tom Hanks' house. It's like, hey guys.
Yeah. That should be on Funny or Die or something.
What?
That should be on Funny or Die or something, you know?
It should be. It's kind of like, it reminds me of in Zombieland. When they show up at
Bill Murray's house.
House. Oh my God, and Bill Murray's there, so I feel like that could have been a really great part of that movie. It's like
missed opportunities, National Treasure.
Come on, take yourself way too seriously.
Yep, seriously. So let's move on to the science news as we're kicking up the speed, getting Kristen out in time for all the craziness that's happening at work. Woo. Science. First, the good news.
Yeah, let's do mine first.
Yeah, do yours
Well,
first.
It's not really mine. We both read about it. You guys.
But you do.
So first of all, I wouldn't even really believe this if it hadn't come from BBC, because this seems like, and as I'm reading it, I'm like,
crazy.
This seems so simple. Like, how come no one thought of this before?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, and obviously I'm not a scientist, but the way they explained it made it sound very simple. This man was in a stabbing attack in 2010, and he was paralyzed from the neck down, okay?
Needless to say, that's not the good news.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you the bad news first. Yeah. So you just have to realize, like, this guy's, and he's been going, they were trying to give him therapy. He wasn't getting any better. They're like, this isn't going to work. And so he was kind of in this experimental program where they take these cells that are in your nose that constantly regenerate themselves, because the spinal cord couldn't regenerate. Was the issue. So they're like, well, we're going to use these cells from because your nose, anyway, and this is going to be the science was a little bit over my head.
This is the layman's
The layman's terms is that the general gist of it is that these cells in your nose regenerate constantly, and one of the only ones in your body that do. And so because of that, they used those and they put them on the spinal cord, and then they bridged it with this other part of the guy's body to like kind of bridge the gap between the spinal cord and these cells, so that the cells could help the spinal cord to regenerate itself, which it did, and the fool is walking.
So nutty. Like
let's recap. Yeah. He was paralyzed from the neck down.
And this is not a little bit of paralysis. This wasn't like
this. yeah, I mean, this is crazy pants. Okay, so then all of a sudden he's like, it was like, and hear him explain it. I can't even imagine the feeling of, it's been 4 years since the stabbing. So I think it was 2 or 3 years he was paralyzed, and then all of a sudden he starts getting the feeling back in his arms, and the next thing you know, he can walk with a walker. And it's bananas.
Like, so, like you said, it's so simple. You're like, why didn't anyone think of it? But it's also so sci-fi.
True.
Like, that seems like something out of a comic book or a movie. Like, you have these regenerating cells in your body that if you just move them, they work.
And they've even said he's the only case they've done, so it might be very specific kind of spinal cord injuries, and so they're not saying this is a cure-all for all spinal cord injuries. But this is exciting.
That's huge.
I'm reading this story and I'm like laughing almost. This is incredible. How rad is that? This guy is walking.
I mean, you have to feel like that's what they, like, when they heard this is working, when the guy was like, I feel something, it must have just been like hysterical laughter and tears from science and medicine at that point.
True.
Just
and
like, oh my God, I have made fire.
Of people, right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. And I can't even imagine they were like, well, we're trying to be cautiously optimistic. And you're like, okay, we need a link to the article so you guys can read it. They've got great pictures and stuff, diagrams that really kind of help you get an idea of how specific his injury was and what they did. But dude, that is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That is really rad. I think, that's one of the coolest science stories we've discussed, and we've discussed a lot of science stories.
This is right up there with the Racetrack Playa mystery.
It is. This and Racetrack Playa, neck and neck. It's a pretty rad story, and it'll be, I mean, to see where that goes from here will be really fascinating, because there's ones that are less practical, right? Like the guy who had the first face transplant that recently they had that big GQ article about. And, like, his life is so complicated because to keep his body from rejecting that face, like, he has to take all these medications.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was the other thing. This guy, they came from his own nose. So he doesn't, or, from his own body. So there's no
it's not trying
pills
to get
to
rid
take.
of it.
Yeah. There's no pills to take. There's no complications that they've seen so far, because his body's not trying to get used to something. It's just like he just moved.
Yeah, they just moved it.
He just leased out the neck instead of the...
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's like, this is sort of a practical application of science and medicine that will have amazing implications in, I mean, I imagine the near future. I mean, you always have the holdups of then, okay, well, now it's a commodity, right? So it's going to be way too expensive for anyone to do it as soon as, they figure out how to make money off it, take it out of the scientists' hands and put it into insurance companies or whatever. So there's that, but it's still, I mean, that's a pretty far-reaching thing right now. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Pretty excited. It's pretty cool. Not cool as the story you're about to share with us, because I don't want to.
Cool. Here's the bad news, you guys. There's a story that's been going around, and let me find it because I would not want to, not do this justice here. Oh gosh, I have so many tabs open at this moment. I'm gonna edit this. Damn it, where'd it go? Okay, well, I'm just gonna search for it again. I can't get over this Juki ad thing. Like, that's what? Goliath spider. Here we go. Oh, no. Oh, there's a Snopes.com page about it now. I'm like, I feel like I should hack this. But it's on, like, every science website, so I feel
Wait, the paralyzed guy one?
No, the spider.
Oh, the spider.
Yeah. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay, it cut out for like a second.
Oh.
Sorry. This stupid thing. Where did it go? All right, Discovery News. So, the headline for this story reads, "Puppy-sized spider romps in rainforest," which is exactly as terrifying. Kristen, you have not read anything about this yet. Am I right?
I actually hid it from my timeline.
That's okay. Well, I'm sorry I'm sorry and not sorry to have to spring this on you. When I read this for the first time, I, like, seriously just kept shuddering, like, over and over again, and then it was like, I couldn't be touched by anything. I was like, everything is a spider that is the size of a dog. So the South American Goliath bird eater is the world's largest spider. Its legs can reach up to 1 foot, and it can weigh up to 6 ounces, which is really the crazy part, is the weight. Because there's another spider that they say, like, maybe has a longer, like, leg span, but it doesn't have the heft of this thing. So let me read you a little bit of this story, because the actual story is what makes this, like, even more terrifying. Every detail is more disturbing than the last. So Peter Nesrecki was taking a nighttime walk in a rainforest in Guyana when he heard rustling as if something were creeping underfoot. When he turned on his flashlight, he expected to see a small mammal such as a possum or a rat. That's the kind of sound it was making. He thought it was a possum or a rat. When I turned on the light, I couldn't quite understand what I was seeing, he said. A moment later, he realized he was looking not at a brown furry mammal, but an enormous puppy-sized spider. Known as the South American Goliath bird eater, the colossal arachnid is the world's largest spider. Its leg span can reach up to 1 foot, or about the size of a child's forearm, with a body the size of a large fist. The giant huntsman spider is the one that maybe has a bigger leg span, but is not nearly as hefty. Here's the part that really kills me. The bird eater's enormous size is evident from the sound it makes. Its feet have hardened tips and claws that produce a very distinct clicking sound. Oh, God. Not unlike that of a horse's hooves hitting the ground.
Seriously?
It has hardened, tipped feet that sound like a horse, Kristen. Like a horse. Let me tell you about its defense mechanisms.
I don't want to hear about it.
When Nesrecki approached the imposing creature in the rainforest, it would rub its hind legs against its abdomen. This guy's crazy pants, by the way. At first, the scientists thought the behavior was cute, he said, but then he realized the spider was sending out a cloud of hairs with microscopic barbs on them. When these hairs get in the eyes or other mucous membranes, they're extremely painful and itchy and can stay for days. But that's not all. It also sports a pair of 2-inch long fangs. The spider's bite is venomous, but not deadly to humans, but it would be like driving a nail through your hand if you got bit by one. Now moving on to page 2, because I think it has one more defense, if I recall. Yep. And the 8-legged beast has a third defense mechanism up its sleeve. It says, the hairs on the front of the spider's body have tiny hooks and barbs that make a hissing sound when they rub against each other, sort of like pulling Velcro apart. So to be clear, when this thing is walking around you in the rainforest, it sounds like a rodent is scurrying around. It also can make a hissing sound like Velcro, and it has clickety-clackety horse feet.
Not gonna lie, I tuned out half of that because I don't really want to know.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard. And then, this thing is, like, super rare. I think this guy said that, like, in his 20-year career or something, he had only seen, like, 3 of them ever, which is 3 too many. But then he takes it and, like, brings it to a museum. I'm like, have you not seen Arachnophobia? You don't just take things and bring them somewhere. This is how we all end. Nope. Not okay with it.
So unnecessary.
So unnecessary. That is too much spider.
Yeah.
Evolution, you done messed up.
Yeah.
That's
a mistake.
That is a big mistake. There's things I don't understand. I don't understand platypi, but they're okay. I don't understand this spider.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, and they call it the bird eater, but it doesn't apparently eat birds, but it eats, like, a lot of worms and, like, maybe small mammals. That's horrifying. So, that's what's happened.
That's really gross.
This week. But hey,
Science.
A guy can walk because of nose cells.
Get it, son. You do
so
you.
We got that going for us, which is nice.
Yes, we had one scientific win.
Yes, we had one science win.
In this week of crazy.
Yeah. So before we head out, I do want to send a big shout out and thank you to Clinton Boomer for coming to our book club the other night. It was fun, wasn't it?
He's delightful.
Oh my gosh, it was great. I mean, the guy swears like a sailor, so if you do watch the video, warning.
Yeah.
NSFW. But yeah, that was
not safe for work, for those of you who don't know that.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but he was great to have on, real articulate, fun, and hearing about the process of writing the whole Before Midnight, which was very collaborative in its inception, was very cool. So we had a good time. You can watch that on the YouTube, and we're working on picking our next book, and that'll be up. So check us out on Goodreads. I'll link to that on the blog as well, and you can join in on our November book. That about sums it up, don't you think, Kristen?
I do think. Corey?
I do think so. So, thanks for listening to us, you guys. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, rating, and all those things that you do that help us get out there and also make us feel warm and fuzzy and loved. We appreciate it. We always want to hear from you, so make sure that you interact in any way that you... is that a kidney?
That was yeah.
Is that your love kidney? And yeah, interact with us anywhere, and we enjoy the chat. And yeah, subscribe to us, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, Tumblr, and wherever you may be able to find us. I know there's like other places that the like feed goes to, but I just don't know what they are. So you know, if you find us on something else, subscribe there too. We feel good about that. So thanks for listening. Until next time, when I come to you super groggy once more, I'm Corrigan Vaughn.
And I'm Kristen Latterell.
Peace out.
Make good choices.
Just like to say, the party in a can thing, I don't even remember this advertisement. I just Googled it. It's called Juki, and it's like a soda. Juki,
Yep.
It's a party in a can. I'm like,
Nope.
why do...
I don't remember that at all.
I don't at all, but I clearly, like, I do in the sense that that's where Skip It goes for me.
To.
Skip it, it's a
Interesting.
party in a can. This is weird.